Professor Dr. V.K. Singh is an ex-registrar, ex-controller of examinations, ex-IQAC director, and presently finance officer and coordinator EAI cell, along with head and dean at Faculty of Management Studies, Gurukul Kangri, deemed to be University, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. He has 25 years of teaching experience and has also served for several years in Indian Air Force, 7 years in Indian Air Force. He is visiting faculty to SCAS Oman, UCT South Africa, UOAS Slovakia, CU Egypt, Al Hussein University Abu Dhabi, IIT Roorkee campus, Toon University, and Himgiri Z University, Dehradun. He has visited more than 14 countries on academic corollary like USA, UK, Japan, France, Germany, Switzerland, China, South Africa, Australia, etc. He has 85 research articles in national and international journals and has authored 16 books on management and marketing. He is also a corporate trainer and has pitched to Bhil, IFCO, Uttarakhand PCS officer, M Index, and Hero, Sitkul branch. Under him, 26 PhD research scholars have been awarded their PhD. 2 government research projects from ICSSR and UGC has also been completed. Above all, he is also an independent director to MS Urja Shakti India Private Limited, Uttarakhand. His area of interest is international marketing, event management, and advertising and soft skill pitching. Today, he will deliver lecture on dimensional of professional education and academic leadership. A very warm welcome, you, sir.
Thank you,
Over to you,
everyone,
sir.
and good morning to everyone. I hope I'm audible, and very shortly I'll be just sharing the slides also. 1 minute, just give time. Okay. So I'm sure my slide is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
visible.
So yeah, thank you. So first of all, a very good morning to everyone who has connected from Pan India. And as a teacher, it's really very difficult for everyone to have you know getting onto your own working conditions on the office, and then you keep on switching over to the technical sessions. So at the outset, I'm thankful to everyone for every patience hearing, and let's proceed for the slides. You can see to this that basically I'm talking about the innovative technical educational practices and academic leadership. Well, when you talk of looking to this particular thing, what things comes to our mind is about what is more visible and what is more technical is about every challenges in an opportunity. So basically what we say is that we have been thinking about the impact of looking to the coronavirus pandemic and the kind of tools and services that could be focused on ensuring that students do not miss a beat in their learning COVID-19, which has brought home to a reality that educational technology and delivering the basic parts of engagements and students are never been into more importance. Why? It is something like where we switch over and something like where we look on to the facilitations that has come to our part, and these facilitations is more indulges to the situations where we and all the people, those who are here, can look to the engagements, because most of the technical education institutions, if you look onto many educational systems, they have resisted the changes where they 150 years old structure and practices. Why? Because necessarily now they compels them to decline the students' achievements that could not be there into higher educations, because this is purely an exceptions that we're talking about. So university students have had access to advanced and interactive curricula online for at least a decade now. So many institutions are still slow getting to the party. The questions of how to reform education has always been a part which comes around to the teachers, how to train them and how to access them, how to pay them, and how to keep them getting onto the situations. That is more valuable and more understandable to look forward for. Because if you look to another situation, you will find basically what we are looking is about the introduction part. Basically, is what we are looking is about the the technological part. Basically, is what we are looking is about the practices that comes to the situations, and the delivery part of visuals, spatials, the bodily kinesthetics, and the musical concepts which we're looking for. Now, above all, most of the technical education institutions, they, if you look to the situations, you'll find that they are more practical in terms of getting the nations that normally were following the conventional methods in teaching and learning process. Why? Because today world is driven by technology. You see, so to be very clear about this. And when we say it's driven by technology, it means, as in the word of Cheryl Beach, teachers will not be replaced by technology, but teachers who do not use will be replaced by those who do. A very clear-cut version of this thinker, because we look on to the fast and rapidly changing needs of the industries, which has to be fulfilled by technical education institutions to make them students industry ready. It is high time that these institutions also must realize the need to introduce many new innovations and novel education practices to make them students employable and sustainable, right? So that is the reason, and here you can see it, that the thousands of entrepreneurs and innovations can help our students keep moving into the educational journey, no matter where this virus disrupts takes them. While we are all upset by the global program, we can and we must overcome. And fortunately, the tool do we use in our hand in the field of educational technology. Most products and the services in the market work to improve the educational experiences of the students, instructions, and the managers that we are seeing, and we are learning to the basic practices. Now, uh, well, really look on to certain again movements, you will find that as per the Harvard's Todd Ross argues, the the hardest part of learning something new is not embracing new ideas, but letting go of old ones. Is it? So in this particular way, what we learn in the modern technology is reshaping the education sector currently. Using the right tools and tech solutions are imperative for the upliftment of the educational system. So as a matter of fact, we look forward for the blended learning, and education will make a perfect mix in the future to support the system. Above all, artificial intelligence uh, is where we can look and see to to the part of versions where its power to serve as a teacher in case where students feel isolated due to absence of classroom environment. Now, that version I would like to look upon from the angle of Italian educator Michael McDonald, who uses virtual reality to improve the way people learn or teach English as a foreign language. Because using Rumili social virtual reality space, students can collaborate and communicate in one room from anywhere in the world, as if they are in a simple way of looking to same physical locations. Now, If you get onto 22nd World Educational Summit 2021, which was held on 17th and 18th of December, you will find it that the consensus is something where the platform gathered reputed speakers and experts from the both government and private sectors. And the panelists discussed how the NEP 2020, which is National Education Policy, will will play a significant role in establishing the footprint and bringing transformation in the educational system. Uh, there are discussions on the implementations of National Education Policies 2020, looking to the multiple actions and required to be taken for the stakeholders. It is requisite to put a plan and structure in operations that will help to nurture students and improve skills-based learning. Why? Because when you look forward to NEP 2020, which was addressed as a challenge of skill development, critical thinking, and analytical abilities, communication skills, and focus on the holistic development of a child, the two-day event that highlights the basic version and basic reality is about the education system and technology that makes to education more learning centric. Because these things is really very innovative. I do remember our honorable chairman of AICT, Anil D. Shastrabudhe, said that in the last few years, a lot of reforms have taken place in the educational sector. Focus on to implementing tech-enabled student solutions that will foster innovative learning. Uh, I do also remember when Shastra Buddhi Sahab, added that users of artificial intelligence, machine learning and blockchain will benefit the education sector in the future. Uh, you know, if you look into the words of Additional Secretary of School Education of UP, Aradhna Shukla, she also spoke on certain variants that in NEP 2020 the government has given a lot of flexibility. Primary education gives you tools to learn things about you, retain your knowledge while pursuing secondary education. She said, that added to 2020, she hasn't she has adopted the level of potential to make India's Vishwaguru in educational domain. So that's a version that you cannot ignore, or you cannot look for entire ignorement purposes. There are more leaders, like one of the leader who redefined the leadership is about the Amrita Vora, who is the director of education of GEMS India, executive principal and GEMS International School of Gurgaon. She talks about looking to the blind more, that leadership is very challenging job, and when you look onto a person need to claim and compose the platform leadership, it is important that leaders should be able to explore the leadership quality. Now, why we are looking, and why we are looking to a domain is something where we have to uh, get on to certain meanings and certain understandings that really purview and make an understanding to certain practices that we are following and that we are getting onto it. Principal of GP CP Goenka International School, Bori Valley, Mumbai, has a very clear-cut indication that every kind of opportunities that we can provide for our teachers to upgrade their skills and knowledge with the help of technology, to ensure that whatever content children learn in their classroom is not one-way task but a collaborative effort. This is something where you look forward for some more exploratory views that look on. Now, when we look to the best practices, because it is important for educational institutions to adopt the best practices globally and become competitive in the market. So there will be deliberations on such topics to provide the highest quality learning opportunities. And these deliberations talks about the technological part, the innovational part, or educational part. What we use the word is TIE, TIE, that gives a meaning of technological innovation and education. So this program nurtures creative leaders in education towards researching and designing new technology and media that promotes powerful and teaching engaged learning, as a matter of fact. Now, when the TIE asks you to consider who are the users and what educational challenges are they grappling with. So in this particular way, we have a lot of views on the experimental learning. We have a lot of views on the choosing the medium and in technology that delivers the most effective learning experiences from your specific goal. So here, technology is the means, not the mission, or for harassing innovations and creative witty to improve the the educational outcomes of all the learners. To be very simple and to be very conclusive as to this goal, because when you look and get on to certain understandings and certain creative ways, you'll find more versions and more realities. And these versions and realities is about pedagogical approaches such as inquiry based projects based and collaborative learning, which can help develop fundamental soft skills. Like for example, if you say critical thinking, creative, right, creativity, teamwork, and communication. So these all things is really giving a meaning to go for the use of uh, robust technological part. Like for example, you say virtual reality, like for example you say uh, looking for the missions and looking for the strengthened part where we get on to certain views and technological situations, because in this particular way we are more into vocational educational and technology VET, what we use is, so they are also well suited to facing the challenges which imposed by digitalization and industry 4.0. Now, these things can be more generalized. These things can be more understood in terms of digitalization in the workplace. How students takes talks to a variant way. How you look on to employer centric learning. How you look onto massive open online course that is MOOC. These things is really challengeable. But when we talk of digitalization in the workplace, which has increased the need of strong basic skills like literacy, numeracy, and digital skills. We are extending as a robotic and automations will become more widespread, because these will affect the skills which we need to success in the workplace in all the industries. Because when you talk of certain countries which is focusing to skills traditionally linked to trade occupations such as control and monitoring of industrial operations or maintenance of equipments. Sometimes we also forward for getting experiencing surpluses. So at this time, the cognitive and soft skills such as reading, writing, critical thinking, and active learning are increasing to a short span of time that we follow and that we structure the versions and realities of what we get onto it. So, so that is a way and that is a learning that we expect and get to the way and get to the situations that we are focusing to. Now, what point is more sorry, what point is more to be distributed and looked forward is the ultimate purpose is what? The ultimate purpose of innovation is to create something different in terms of quality, in terms of quantity. So when you follow other sectors, you'll find it that innovations is greatly needed in a technical education vis-a-vis to other sectors. Why? Because education should not only be sustainable and wide-ranging, but also must constantly update to the meet the challenges of ever-changing global world. So the administrators and the faculty members must adopt innovative practices in teaching, learning to ensure that quality education is imparted to all the students to face their life and a career in accordance with the changing needs of a society, right? So that is engagement that we are looking and getting on to the structure. Now, any question till now? Hello? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. So looking further to the traditional teaching methods, including lectures methods or discussion methods, because we are trying to make a comparative study. So we'll find it that among all the methods, the lecture methods occupies a predominant places in the teaching learning process, because lecturing provides very little scope for negotiation and construction of meaning. These traditional methods makes the students to be passive rather than active participants. So sometime we try to get into the methodology part, that it is understood that there exists a prevalent gap between the teaching learning methods followed and the methods necessary for students of the present day to advance with the changing needs of industry and advent of new technologies, right? So if you look onto certain practices, taking example of MOOC or taking example of a centric learning, you'll find that this gap can be addressed through the introduction of innovations, educational practices that can kindle up the situations like thinking skills and keep them active in the teaching learning process. So the implementation of innovation method in teaching learning is addressed by many researchers. So here innovation is education in education are of a particular importance, because education plays a crucial role in creating a sustainable future. So such innovation best practices can argue, or and this argument can be look forward to the situations where we get on to the teaching learning process, because thereby ensures actual learning happens. And these were the practices which we have talked about, like student centric learning. SCL is there, right? And sometimes we also frame and structure the the practices of students facilitators for peer learning, or we sometimes we look forward for students talk, because if you look into students talk, you'll find it that very popular in Sweden and Denmark. All the students are given a chance to present their ideas for about 5 to 7 minutes in every classroom, and the student may be allowed to present in their order of attendance, one student per day or on a daily basis. So slow learners and the students who have stage fear can be given a chance again to improve their communication and presentation skill, right? So this practice opens up a newer area of enhancement that acknowledge the improvement part of language as a competency. We also look forward for employer learning centric learning, in which the best practices helps the students to learn the real-time industrial scenario and prepare them for their forthcoming career in the industry. MOOC, if you see it part of more enhancement and more way is about many, because MOOC provides an affordable and flexible way to learn new skills and advances with emerging technologies. So many foreign and Indian universities offers a wide range of courses in various disciplines. The students and faculties can be encouraged to take up MOOC to enhance their skills and uh, update the practical way of latest advancements which they can get on. Because I remember the word of Steve Jobs. Uh, he specifically quoted to innovations distinguishes between a leader and followers. So rightly emphasizing the importance of adopting innovations to become a leader. So aptly, such innovation in the education sector with the best educational practices will certainly enhance the quality of students. And I'm sure thereby they help them in mergers to success of international area. So these were certain things which we look to the uh, way. But when you look onto the technological innovation part, or when you look onto the more variant part of technology, like for example, having a significant impact on educational systems. You'll find online courses, teaching aids, educational softwares, social networking tools, and other emerging technologies that are really disrupting the traditional classworks environment. So understanding the effect that the technological innovations have on students, teachers, and schools is critical to develop certain strategies and techniques to manage and use technology in education. Because researcher, they really, sorry, they really look forward for how technologies and innovations are being used and how effectively they are going to help to improve the students' outcome. That is more important, and that is more uh, getting creative to get on to the publicized part. Because recent research states that the use of technology in education has improved students' academic performance drastically. It's clear. You look onto VR, virtual reality in education, or you look onto AI or machine learning. Because if you look, for instance, they are digital whiteboards, flipped classrooms, and Chromebooks replacing textbooks. So, who the best to support these movements than teachers themselves? So, technology is causing massive challenges in all the sectors of economy, and these challenges can revert to the changes that have been felt in the health sector, financial world. You see it, or you link it to some more enhancement part. But when we question to virtual reality, it is something that hottest thing in the tech world is about big companies are gearing up for a brutal war over the technological, including Google. You say Sony is there, Oculus is there, which is backed by Facebook. Samsung and other many more companies are there, but these they are the prominent companies. And one of the area of specialized VR technology is education, right? So with the virtual reality, students can learn via interacting with the 3D world. Google has been on the forefront, as you can look onto the screen in terms of VR technology. The same way we talk about the artificial intelligence and machine learning. If you look onto this, you'll find that this being applied in all the levels of technology, from the lowest to the most advanced level. AI is now being used in the schools to automate the key activities, maybe such as grading of subjects, right? We look to the one part, or AI tutors have been developed to get on to tech students subjects such as mathematics and writing skills, right? So these things were there. Then another way to get on to is about you can see it here is about cloud computing for education, right? And this cloud computing for education is more uh, accessed for you can access this from any part of the world, and thanks to this particular technology, because vital resources such as written lessons, audio lessons, videos and videos assignments, they can be stored on the school's cloud terminal. So students can access these resources from the comforts of their home and complete it and submit accordingly to the uh, part of where they want to submit it. So this is where we can have, because looking to the positivity side, saving, efficiency, accessibility, opportunity, innovation, and flexibility. So this six is things are the pillars of cloud computing. Now, 3D printing. So when you say 3D printing, which is already causing ripples in the educational sector, and students are loving them, right? Why? Because through this printing technology, uh, students can have a better understanding of something that was thought to be complex. Because especially in higher education institutions, 3D printing is used for engineers, all the technical technocrats and system designers, architectures, to develop a prototype to be used in development of final systems. So this 3D printing takes a concepts to higher level and makes them a real way to understand and get onto it. So this is one more variant. Now, coming to the next move, and this next move talks about the social media in educational institutions, how they play. Because if you look onto Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, right, and you'll find it YouTube, many Messenger. You'll find there are a lot of things how these are going to help, because educational institutions they have uh, not be left behind in capitalizing the impact of social media. social media is not only for grown-ups. You can avail the benefits of using social media in education too. And therefore, you could come up with an exclusive hashtag and encourage students to tweet their inquiries, academic doubts, work, homework, presentations, etc. So answer your students' questions by displaying the results of your hashtag feeds on the screen. So this could be beneficial for those who may not be comfortable asking questions in front of a large crowd. What we say is a phobia. No? So in fact, most of these social network sites were developed on campuses, and the first user were college students only. The best part is, and universities and colleges can connect with each other through social networking sites. Even they are several contented parties there through these sites. They are able to organize contests, meetings, and parties, because the students from different schools uses social media to exchange ideas, which can change the real literally lives of people. You know, so this is where we try to make. Moreover, students spend so much of their time on social media, because on an average, if you look into it, people spend roughly around 4 to 4.5 hours for social media. So bringing social media into the curriculum is among the most innovative way to use technology in a classroom. I'm sure teachers can connect students to curriculum, classrooms, resources, and one another. So they can create a Facebook or WhatsApp or a Slack group, specifically for your classroom, where you can post discussions topic. Uh, Going for use of biometric in schools, is also there, and slide shows, presentations, and multimedia, because in the slideshow you go for the colorful images, gifs. Uh, GIFs is there, then short video clips is there, graphs, animations, soundtrack, podcast, do matters. These all things can give a very excellent way of giving a presentation that look forward to the more critical and learning, because when you because one thing is there, when you talk of podcast, or when you talk of academic lessons, especially in motivational podcasts, online learning platforms, interviews, and online courses, basic researches on academic topic, lecture from other educators, podcast, build blogs. There are a lot many things which you can record personalized feedback on students' work as a video. Also, students to give peer feedback through videos. Therefore, this could help students speak on opinion instead of keeping in writing focus. So I encourage students to create forms, quiz, and polls related to your academic activities, which with a tool like Google is there, Google Form. Students can create them through classroom electronic devices. So this could be one of the easiest way to introduce technology in a very simple way, to in your classroom. Then we talk of going more to it is about how we get to online classes schedules, because in online classes schedules we have a Google Calendar that helps you to create and share a class calendar. This keeps your students informed about the class durations and important dates, which you can look forward for, and therefore email of your class calendar's hyperlink can be used to the students who wonder that they will have to stay or organize in the turn to make students to come prepared in the classrooms regularly. We also go for certain more realities other than gamifications, use virtual manipulatives concepts, like for example base 10 blocks, coin blocks, and 10 grams virtual manipulatives tends to be very effective. They are relatively new technology modeling for better adoption, where you can look for, because watching videos helps in remembering key concepts longer than reading. So use hyper video to help you record digital whiteboard explainers or classrooms activities, peer presentations as a video. Additionally, you can share them via G Drive, Google Drive, or through Google Classroom or YouTube right away. So adding videos to your classrooms resonates with the visual learners and allow them to learn at their own pace. So you could establish a deep connection with your students and comprehend clarity through video in a regulatory way. Gamification is also there. The gamification talks about the when we are going for the complex concept is taught in the form of games. So it sets the foundation rights. Because you can take example of learning students to type faster can be taught in the form of playing typing games in the computers. That can be done. Not only they are incredibly engaging for teaching technology, but to spend typing, but they also invoke funds and excitement for the students, because ultimately what is more important is to make them fun, to make them more get to reality, to make them more get to constructive uh, can say situations. So that is gamification, because teachers can ask students to form pairs or groups and encourage them to collective with each other while learning by playing. So that is the way and way of more enhancement, way of more learning, because you need to encourage the teamwork among the students, which is the essential skills when they want to grow up in their career. So word spreading across of access of internet is one factor that has accelerated the importance implementations of technological innovations in educational sector, right? So that is more of clarity, that is more of you can say cutthroat competition among the different technological firms, in order, because here the factors will accelerate the rate of technological innovation. So the future of education clearly looks bright. There is lots of ideas available to teach and engage students. Finding out which one works for your students and implementing them will reap more benefits in terms of the uh, activities that we have going forward for. I would just recommend, there is a case of a Singapore, where Singapore has one of the most rapidly developed economy in the world. So what gives Singapore its competitive edge? Because Singapore has developed a close linkage between education and economic development, studying whether they want to economy to grow and then educate a rising workforce to be prepared accordingly. So if you look onto Singapore now seeks to become a global scientific hub. To do so, all the aspects of the government, the financial ministry, the educational development board, the manpower ministry, the educational ministry, urban and development planning, everyone, they have come together to plan for a catalyst Singapore's growth, right? So here the word is specifying the to make them, to prove them, to catalyze the Singapore's growth. And this manpower ministry works with the various economy agencies which are responsible for promoting specific industrial groups to identify the critical need and projects they have demanded. So the future skills requirements are then feedback both into a pre-employment training and the continuing education and training. In other countries, if you look on like India or developing country, labor's education's market, they make them adjustments slowly over the time. So in many places, workforce training is an afterthought, not a forward-looking plan. But the Singapore government believes that it approaches is really helping the students to make fast learning, growing sectors, reducing over supply in areas of this declining demand more quickly, and targeting the public funds more effectively for post-secondary educations or even higher education. Because the Ministry of Education and the institutions of higher and post-secondary educations then use these skill projections to inform them own educational planning, especially for universities, polytechnics, and other technical institutions. The outcome of outcome is that Singapore is ready to meet the demand of the fastest growing, most profitable industries. If you look onto certain countries, technical education is looked down upon a dead end option of of a low quality of and typically out of steps with the changing needs of employers. But vocational education has been more creative and more enhanced way to learn, because Singapore took a hard look on its poorly regarded vocational education and decided to transform and reposition it so it was not seen as a place of last resort. So that was the real version which we have kept on to it, and that is a case which we now moving further into the base of what we can understand and what we can look forward is about the situations, and these situations talks about the innovations, academic leaderships, and the best practices that we can look forward for. So till now, anything anyone would like to add on, or if you feel that something has left out of it, or if you feel that some sensitive part should be included into my pitching, so you are welcome. So we can have general discussions of what we have done it. Then I can go further. Anyone? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So should I move? No, I'm audible, but anything from anyone would like to add on, or should I move further?
No, sir. No, sir. Okay. That's good.
Okay,
You can move further, sir. I hope you're changing the slides. The slide is on the Google Calendar. After that, have you moved your slides, sir?
No, not yet. Because now I'll be talking about the innovations. Yeah, yes.
So you mentioned about the Singapore University, Singapore education system. There are very good universities where our students now they try to go for higher studies and for research also. So can you just highlight the good practices that they are following, and that we could maybe imbibe or use the same good practices in your experience?
Yeah. See, I'll just tell you one of my own experienced situation. I was visiting faculty at one of the European state, and I was just waiting for my previous speaker to come out of the class, and I was supposed to get into the class. And what happened was the time period is 2 hours 15 minutes of one class. So I'm just sharing you. So when he was a person from Germany, so my time was from my time was from 12 to 4:15. 2 to 4:15, and I was when their first time. So as a practice, in India, what we do is that when you go to a class, okay, we take it 1 to 3 minutes as a normal. So when I took my class, and my next class was of one German person. I'm talking about my first day class, and my previous class was also from the German. So he left the class, and I was standing out, and then I was supposed to get into my class at 2 o'clock. So sharply, just 3 seconds of 2, he leave the class, and then I was just waiting outside, and then I went at around 2 to 3, and I started the class. Until 4:15, I took the class, and after 4:15, because once you engage into the class, you don't bother to leave the class also. So I'm talking about my first day of the class, and then I heard a knocking sound, and then I saw with the glass that the person who is about to replace my class, he was standing there. So, and the time was 4:15 sharp. So I just said, "Oh, okay, no problem, I'm coming." And then I took 5 to 7 minutes because I was to end that topic, and then ultimately I wound up my laptop. So it took around 7 to 8 minutes time more. So when I went outside, he in the class only, he told me, "Sir, you have eaten my in 9 minutes time in front of the students only." So I took very seriously because he should have not told in front of the student. But then he said, "You have eaten my 7 to 8 minutes time." So I kept, I just smiled it and then I moved forward. So the first thing which I really appreciate is that they are very fond of time. And second thing is they don't mind. Like we people know, we hesitate to talk in front of the students. They openly talk because they want that, students should also know it, that where we are wrong. And in fact, in our teaching pedagogy, we talk to the teachers and we develop relations, and that the things should not be open up to the students. This is the one thing which I really feel it. Second example I'll give you. When I was in this example, I'm talking about the Slovak, which is a country which is touching to Hungary and what do you say, France, right? And the next example I would give you is when I was in one country, again, I'm talking of South Africa, Cape Town University. So there was one more thing which I could see it, that when you're using the PPT presentations, right, you are going as per the topic which is given to them. So it's not that PPT presentation is something and you're talking of something, and with a very limited words. And the best part of Cape Town University is that they give my dean was one Negro. So he told me that you need to be more specific with examples rather than you're talking with the technical terms. You try to get on with examples. So even in the higher educations also, they take it in a story way. Here, when we talk of BTech or when we talk of MBA, or we try to put the classroom versions more technical, because we feel that if we are coming with the jargon words, which we are coming with the heavy-weighted words, students will feel that no, this teacher is one of the best teacher. Because the things are going out of jargon words, they will feel no, he is one of the best teacher. This thing is not there, which I learned from it. And the third part is, when we are on a smart board or when we are on a making up presentations, it is to be looked forward that it is very easy rather than technical part. I'll tell you, a lot of teachers, even I'm talking of my own example, we don't want to come out of the comfort zone because we feel that we cannot learn it, and we're trying to hesitate to know about what things are there. One of my students, he was making, I told him that you make in my university, you go for a research because we have a lot of smart boards, and you try to make out that how many teachers we really know about a research a smart board. And can you believe that we know how to on, how to off, but technically speaking, there are a lot many things in a smart board which we really know, and that is more than 85% of that technicality part teachers doesn't know. So what I'm saying is that it should be more friendly, and it is a friendly user, but we have kept in our mind that we cannot understand this. The same is with the smartphones. I made a survey and I found that 93.43%, I'm talking of Haridwar people, they possess a smartphone, but 93.43% of the possessors of smartphone, they really don't know the basic uses of smartphone. So these are certain things which is really very interesting. One more example, because you have asked a very good thing. I would tell you, you see, I spent some of my time in Harvard University. So you all know that in management, we say this is a Makkah Madina. And I found one thing, that these people, the professors, they never come up with definitions. Like I remember the case of Three Idiots. Professor, you never come up with what is this, they tell that with the story, they tell that with the PPT presentations. And just 75 miles from Harvard is one more university called Yale University. It's a private university. In fact, Harvard is also a private university. And Yale University, they have a different teaching pedagogy. They don't take much with the PPT, but they take much with the PPT, but they don't take much with the case studies. Whereas Harvard University take much with the case studies. Now, to my belief, when I take the class, just excuse me, I got to 1 minute. Hello, जी sir. Hello, sir. एक क्लास में हूँ सर मैं जी. ठीक है. Okay. So when I take the case studies to my students, frankly speaking, they give a very smile figure. They just give a very smiley on their face. So one day, one of my student, he's doing research under me, the same student who did MBA under me. So I asked him, tell me, you used to smile, guys, or sometimes I could see that whenever I go for the case studies, you people smile. What is the reason behind this? So he said, no, sir, koi baat nahi, no. But when he was doing his research and when he's completed his research, I'm talking of 2 years MBA and then 4 years research. So after 6 years, I knew the exact result answer. And you know what he answered me? He said, please don't take it otherwise. The credibility of a case study with the student is that whenever students are being framed with the case study, they feel that teacher is not prepared with the material. That's why today he is coming with a case study. Are you getting me? Now, these are certain assumptions, because in case studies you talk the things, but factually speaking, you have read the case study, but students have not read the case studies, so they feel that he is just making a time pass or something like. But the fact is, the case study is one of the best pedagogy which I have ever confronted so far. So these are certain things here which we need to get onto it. So hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now coming to the next slide, and the next slide talks about the academic leadership. And when we say academic leaderships, let us be very clear about that. When we say academic leadership, we need to be very innovative. When we say academic leadership, we need to be very because it is both an exciting and a challenging time for leaders in higher education, because the field of higher education administration is growing with an estimate, if I'm not wrong, more than 13,000 jobs to be filled at more than 7,000 institutions of higher education by 2030. So what's more innovative, and what's more claritative to the situation is that we have to increase the impacting education as an industrial takes more entrepreneurial approaches to the way that students learn, professors teach, administrators they collaborate with both in a campus and their communities. Because at the same time, trends in higher education points to a range of challenges, such as raising fund. A lot of self-financing issues need to be looked forward for meeting the needs of diverse students population, then preparing graduates for ever-changing workforces, and then wake of COVID-19, then transitioning the students and the staffs to working and learning remotely seemingly overnight. So there are things it is important for the leaders to in higher education to work across departments to prepare these institutions for more futuristic aspects that can come forward for. Now, how we look forward for? What are the situations that can be dealt, and what are the things that can be moved, and what are the parameters that can be looked into it? So we see there are basically 8 critical traits that define effective leadership in the higher education, and these traits are more variance, because as a matter of fact, you need to get on to the flexibility, you need to get on to the permanent part, you need to get on to the reality, you need to get on to the potential and compounding factor that one has to raise for. The very first is a financial acumen. You see, in 2017, there was a survey of consulting firm Deloitte. Nearly 2/3 of college principals ranked fundraising, alumni relations, and donor relations among their top 3 priorities. Right. So the respondents also said that fundraising was the most important leadership skill they needed to develop. Fundraising is currently certainly a critical part for the job of college principals or directors or deans, because it plays base for employers' salary, future faculty research, capital projects, and such students' financial aids. However, when you look forward for the financial acumen, it is much more than fundraising. Leaders in higher education needs experience in developing budgets. They need to go for overseeing the endowments. They need to look forward for creating financial plan at the time of economic uncertainty. Number 1. Number 2 is about cutting edge collaborations. Cutting edge collaboration here means the collaboration has always been a cornerstone of education, and taking a more innovative approach to collaboration by partnering with leaders, cutting edge and groundbreaking institutions help students to prepare for life after schools. So innovative educational collaborations provide opportunities for students to tackle the real world challenge across all the subjects in a relevant way. So here students do not just collaborate with each other, they are encouraged to step outside collaborative cultural boundaries and connect with each other in a meaningful way. So they are also encouraged to try to get on to new methods of self-expressions, or to look forward for communications, or to get on to critical thinking. So innovative collaboration can can also enable students to apply their skills to real world situations where they prepare for themselves for the college or for their career. So the concept of collaborative leadership in higher education is more of looking to bridging the gap, is it? And this bridging the gap is something like I'm talking about including scholarship opportunities, internship, job placements, program or ongoing conversation with the government policymakers, and then looking for college and universities that are often largest employ the communities, and they are collaborating, giving collaborative approach to leadership in higher education, and can reduce the stigma of the institutions as an isolated ivory tower, what we look forward for. And the next version of this is the building new leadership, that how we can build the leaderships and what are the ways through which carry on to, because successful leaders in any industry recognize the importance of providing development opportunities for mid-career or middle tier professionals. So this helps this organization strengthen and expands its pool of candidates for leadership positioning, while allowing staff to progress in their career as in current institutions, right? So here, when we didly look to the reality and of leadership training and mentoring, the program which enables leaders in higher education to empower faculty and academic staff to develop their own leadership skill. So this provides 2 benefits, right? What benefits you can look forward is about that. Number 1 is that it allows current leaders to support those who have expressed interest in becoming future leader. And the second is it enables leadership to focus training and professional development on the most critical need of the institution. So that is the way through which you build the new leaders in our cluster of education. The 4th one talks about the communication. And communication is something like just like an executives in other industries. Leaders in higher education must be effective communicator. So they must be comfortable engaging with the wide range of audiences, both on and off campus and in both public and private settings. So over the courses of single day, maybe a leader may meet with faculty members, with the employees in supports role, or with the donors, or with some other senior leaders in the college, students, government officials, current leaders, prospective students, members of communities, and sometimes they also meet with the press. So there, basically, you need to have a very effective communications, and these effective communication starts with what it is most important. Number one, then you need to set up your expectations, uh, what you really need from them, from the stakeholders, and you need to be very actively listener, because your body language should talk about that to what extent you are dealing with the people. And you also ensure that you provide the constructive and specific feedbacks when you are indulged with the pitching. And last but not least is about address concerns immediately, and if possible in person. That has to be looked forward for. So this is the way through which you communicate, because communication is more of giving a back-to-back indulgence between what you are supposed to deliver and what the people are supposed to listen, right? So that is one thing which gives to a real trait of effective leadership. Then we go for the next one, and the next part we say is about the planning part, that is strategic planning. Because when you talk of strategic planning, which is something like we need to make the transition to a leadership role in higher education, because you lead a single department or an entire institutions in your new role. So you must assess what your team and its access are doing, whether there is a room for improvement, and what it will take to get onto it. So you need to consider short-term plans that can be executed quickly and with the little disruption, as well as a long-term plans that will have a broader and deeper impact. So understanding with the use of the data is an important part of a strategic planning, because data provides empirical evidence for making our decisions, whether it's choosing a new bookstore or creating a new academic departments. So overall, what I want to convey is the data influences and enables collaborative leadership. So this gives all the relevant stakeholders access to the same information as they develop a plan, which allows multidisciplinary terms to build a consensus of how to make an agreement part. So that is fun. That is bombarding fun of how you make a plan, because your planning tells you what type of leader you are. Then the next point, which is the sixth point, the change management. Well, when you say change management, it is there's a saying that if anything is permanent in this world, is a change, right? So higher education can have a reputation of being resistant to change. It is not just because some institutions are hundreds of years old. So change in higher education can be slow for a number of other reasons. But even though you are slow, but you need to mandate the acceptability of change in terms of losing coupled organization structures and large presentations committees debating decisions. In addition, institutions that receive public funding may be wary of how government bodies will respond to their decisions or something. So, but today, environment change is inevitable, and it is increasingly happening. Rapid changes can easily lead to conflict. Remember this, because effective leaders prepare for this conflict so that change can manage in sensitive way, and the need of stakeholders, including the institutions itself, will respect and heard. So there are certain achieving changes management in higher education's leadership, like interpret the necessary data and evaluate what will happen if change does not or does occur. Number one. Next, you can go for collaboration with the necessary stakeholders who will impact with the change. You need to take them with you as a shadow. Then make a decision that takes account everyone's best interest, not like you be of what yourself managing and self-centric? No. Then you go for the community development of communication plan. And when you develop a communication plan, you try to make understanding the tailor message to different audience, because with the same word you cannot you say get onto the people. So you need to have because if you're selling an ice cream, so you cannot be leader. And if you want to be a good leader, so forget about selling an ice cream then, because right. And they communicate early with often, and these are the things which strikes a balance between urgency that requires to take action and the incremental process of the actions that as a leader you are supposed to take on. And then we talk of further is after change management is about the commitment of diversity. So how you are committed to the diversity, because across all the stakeholders groups in higher education, from the students body to faculty to the leaders to team to institutions benefits, you'll find it that the things which really look forward to the representations in terms of diversity or in terms of factors such as race, culture, gender, sexual orientation, and socio-economic background. These representations allows institutions of higher education to better reflect the communities they serve and to prepare students for career that increasingly requires a global and multicultural perspective. Well, if you really talk of leaders, you will find it that in higher education, it is critical to be aware of the needs, right? The needs of any diverse group, and to understand how these needs may intersect, because this awareness helps leaders to provide the appropriate support in improving diversity through outreach or to look forward for the prospective students, right? So above all, if you really look to the commitment, because you see, I would like to give an example here. When I was in Japan, I remember one case, that they have different race, they have a different background, they have different cultures, they have different gender, they have different sexual orientations, social backgrounds, and to them, it was very difficult, as a teacher to make an dialogue between those peoples, because some of the people, they were not much in English, some of the people, they were slow learners, some of the people, they were very fast movers. So looking to the track records of the students, you need to be classified. And I used to remember that they have different classes, on which classes the fast learners used to be on this one class, and then same class, and then after you have to, as a teacher, you have to identify who's a slow learner, and then you have to take a tutorial classes for the slow learner. So overall, if you comply with the commitment, you'll find the basic orientation is that they don't want that the slow learner should not be a part of a fast learner. No? So they used to keep it with the same baskets. Yes, what was more important for them was that they should have been given extra time, extra facilities, extra orientations by the faculties, so that they can come up with their blogs. So that was one of the very interesting way to get onto it. And something more is about they were being taught with the same pedagogical moves to which they used to feel much better, or the expected range was much good for them. So this was another. May I request someone has unmuted, please unmute, please mute your. I request the organizers to kindly look to this matter, please. Yeah, thank you. So these are certain examples, so there we cannot put onto this. So the diversity is there, so, and you have to accept the diversity part, because as a teacher, you have lot many things, and you need to cope up with those diversities. And this is your principle. This is your truly duty for every people. They should get the same learning. Yes, what matters is that to what respect of time they are learning, and to what respect of care they need to have it. That is more $1 billion questions to be raised on. And then we go for the intellectual curiosity. So intellectual curiosity, as we can look, as many leaders in higher educations become a dean or head. Sometimes they become in charges, sometimes they become coordinators and academic department chair, or sometimes they become vice chancellor, registrar. To academic, non-academic side. But what is more important is that meetings and less time doing the hands-on work that attracts them to academia in the first place. So, however, leadership success is in higher education requires intellectual curiosity. It enables leaders to absorb new informations, master a new discipline, and better understand and respond to the needs and challenges of a diverse group of stakeholders. Because as a matter of fact, when you look onto a leader's stake, or as a matter of fact, when you look onto the leader should prepare to learn something new every day, and to use that information to become better leaders, right? So that is more responsive. But looking to the environmental side, or looking to the institutional side, or looking to the P2P P side, or looking to the frame of replacement side, it's very important for leaders to be more intellectual, and they have to be hunger for the curiosity, for the intellectuality part. Because what is more important is that when you deal with the curricular reforms, when you deal with which is an important steps, you result the changes in the classroom instructions, and that is what matters. When you look on forward for ensuring policies and practices which are aligned across the educational system, it will definitely require close attention to how the new curriculum is taught and accessed. So innovation, when you're looking for the innovation part, or when you're looking forward for the innovative practices part in the education, we have to be critical to growth or to a change. Because contrary to popular belief, there is more to innovation in education than simply advancement in technology or virtual options. So what innovations we can do is something which we really frame to understand. I remember, taking again one example of that in Japan, every day is, out of a month, in a fortnightly, every one day is fixed for the students to clean the classroom, to clean the washroom. So that is mandatory for them. So Japan is not Japan because of Japan. Japan is Japan because of the people staying in Japan. So that is my reflection. You get a learning from every people there. There's a saying in Japan that we are friends once we are out of the office. In office, we are not friends. So that's why even they don't bother to say that, say hi, and they start doing their job. So they believe in the Six Sigma. They believe in the work alcoholic pattern, and that is the reason you say that the government of Japan, they have started going for 4 day a week. Now in India we are going for and corporate they have advanced one more step ahead, and now some of the corporates, they're going for 3 days a week, right? So that is the innovative part which you need to look forward for. How things has went on. I just remember 2 years before, people, when you talk about work from home, people used to laugh, because at that particular time also a lot many students, people have been given this opportunity. But now work from home is part of it, and even they are cherishing this, they are relishing this, they are enjoying, the big companies are enjoying this. What is there? You need to be with the laptop, hang on with the time, and get on to the time, and you'll be with us. No need to give space positioning there. You are working with your home, everything is there, and things are being done. So it is why we are waiting for the time to be changed. Why not we ourselves change? Let the change gives a repercussive way, because innovation in education, they can be as complex as overhauling curriculum and workspace, or as simple as doing things in a new way, because using a new and different pathway, processes and strategies to ensure the same goals, the success of all the students you're talking about. So innovation in education should ensure that today's classrooms are filled with students who develop stronger communication skills, and who are more prepared than ever for the college and workforce. So that is situations, that is a deal which we do forward for, and these deals are more conclusive, these deals are more advancement, these deals are more constructive, these deals are more out of curiosity we're talking about. So this intellectual curiosity is something where we hang on to some options, like I'm hunger to open up any changes. I'm going to get onto my offices, or I'm open up to getting onto relish any changes to get into my home. I'm open up. So what this matters is you need to be more constructive. What this matters is you need to be more effective. One more example I would like to give, and then I'll up with the question sessions. And this example I get it from my own personal example. Some of my days I have spent in China, and there I thought of that whenever we used to come out of the class, so every day the students used to give a feedback of the teachers, and the moment you go out of the class, in the gallery, there was a small PC, the screen, and that screen talks about like you might have seen Kaun Banega Crorepati. There you go for opinion poll, and then people used to poll it, and the average comes, and then the person who is sitting on the hot chair, he decides about his own judgment, because much people have thought of this, so I'll go for this. So there, the moment you come out of the class, the teachers will, the students will give a feedback, and that feedback was counted out of 7. And if any feedback goes less than 5 consecutively for 3 days, then the dean used to call and says, okay, this is an envelope given to you, and you can you are being backed to your own country. No, we don't require you as a visiting faculty. So there every day was a warfoot day for the teachers, because every day you have to come up with the preparations, and you're so not like that you are satisfying the students, and students are satisfied only when you deliver the quality. And when out of 7, if 5 and the consecutive days, if it crosses, then you are being called that now this is a rate list, and please pull up your socks. So you see, you are pumped with the 2 things. One is that you need to give the quality to the students, and the other thing is that because you have taken leave from here and you have moved to another country. So how you feel that you are taking 1 year leave from your college, and you left out for a country, and there you are not delivering good, and after 3 months you are being sent back to your own country. So you are, on the one side, you are socially looking to it that I should be not given indicators that how अरे यार तू तो 1 साल के लिए गया था 3 महीने में वापस आ गया, right? So that is a pressure point to your frame. Then students is the pressure point, then your own teaching pedagogy is your pressure point, then your peers group is your pressure point. So out of this everything, what I believe is that you need to come up with the curiosity, and that curiosity is what can be the best part of it. And with the last example, I remember an example of one of the professors of IIT Mumbai. He got retired almost 25 years before, and there's a legacy of the students which they keep on delivering to their new students, and he still stay there, and the girls go. He's I mean, His wife is no more. She's around 90 plus, and this gentleman still stays in the campus, and girls students, they go and they make food for that professor, and some of the students, they go and put them on the car and they bring them to the classroom, and this is what they're going on. And he's over 90, and this is the respect they are giving to that particular teacher. You see, I mean, what I feel is that you need to develop a trait, and this development of trait can be a part of it, no matter whether this trait is with the technology or with not a part of, because but need is you need to upgrade yourself. I remember I used to see some of the clips of Cancer. He's from Bihar, and he and he gives a very simple way of versions to a technological part. Now, how things can be managed, how things can be moved, we should give a learning to this. And the best way is I should get learning from you, and the best way is that you should get learning from me. So you see, we are simply way where we can reflect and where we can ignore to get on to certain movable paths, get on to certain um, frames, get on to certain behavior, and get on to certain technical issues that can reflect and understand the way we are going to indulge with. So with this, I'm off to it. So I'm open up to any suggestions, any questions, or anything which you feel that I have not touched. Maybe you can upgrade my knowledge. So yes, now the session is open for everyone. Yeah. No more additions?
Sir?
Yes, Mr. Kabir.
Okay. Yeah, you talked about the commitment to diversity.
Yeah.
One thing we are noticing is that top levels of academic institutions, still we have the big gender gap. So if you look at the vice chancellor or the director levels, we have male domination.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it due to the lack of commitment or diversity of the existing leaders, or the some traits of the lady head of the departments who are not up to moving upwards? Just on your opinions on this.
Well, Dr. Kabir,
Yeah.
I don't think, because very recently, just 2 days back, I got a news from Jodhpur University that one lady has become a vice chancellor. If you look on to, yes, there are, I don't know, maybe some other issues are there, but if you look on to the industrial overview, you'll find that roughly 11% of the top position is being chaired by the ladies. Even in vice chancellors also, maximum people, especially the gender part, if you look onto a feminine part, ladies are occupying that positions. What I feel is that anyone who is applying to this position, I think this is more of looking to the credibility of the academic profile, or more of looking to the credibility of how people can do. Because even I have seen, if you look onto the Shark 10, which comes on to our TV, Sony TV, you'll find it that even the ladies, those who are entrepreneurs, they themselves has kept a lot of masculine male people on as a CEO of them. So I don't think it is just because we are believing more on male dominancy, because gone are the days when these things used to be a principal part of it. But you can see even the ladies, they are doing far better than male. And male, I mean, you cannot make a distinction. Yes, the point of discussion is that why people are not putting to the scales. So I feel that to every vice chancellor's position, I have hardly seen that ladies are not there, right? Because what happens is it goes to the governor, right? So the panel goes to the governor, So very rarely I have seen that, because once it get opens, because normally governors in the governance panels, the select committees select the 10 people or 7 people, and then ultimately with the governor it goes to 3, maximum 3 or 5. So I think the the name is forwarded, but it is the biodata that makes an importance, right? So it's not that you can say that if you see the case of example of schools, you'll find it maximum in India, in the maximum schools, private schools, ladies are chairing that as a principal, right? Okay, so better is, rather than saying this, that we can have dominancy part. I don't believe that dominancy is there. They do apply for this, and it is a part of a political move. It's a part of environmental upgradation. It is a part of heavy weighted curriculum vitae. So to my mind, I think in my institutions, you see, yes, you're very true. In my institutions, not even a single lady has been vice chancellor to my institution. But there is a saying for that. I mean, it's not that it cannot be made, but there is a saying. To certain, I see to certain other parts of institutions, I've seen ladies are there. Not even a single male has been vice chancellor there. So I think there are some restrictions on the policy matters. There are some restrictions on the BUM rules and regulations. Maybe that can explore to it, and that can be exceptional. But overall, I believe, Mr. Kabir, that what matters is the heavyweight of the curriculum vitae, and what matters is who is sitting there, and what matters is that how you feel that anyone can manage the show. It's not a matter of masculine or feminine. It's not a matter of male, female. It's not a matter of gender biasness. But what matters, I feel, is that yes, who can do this, and whosoever does, he become a Sikandar. That's what, to my stay part of it.
Thank you, sir. That point is very valid. The commitment to diversity by leaders,
Yeah.
grooming up your people, irrespective of the gender. Many thanks.
It is, and what I feel is a time demand, and I've seen a lot of examples. You see the case of, I'll give an industrial case. You see the case of Berkshire Hathaway, the fourth multimillionaire of the world. He still stays in the storeroom apartment, and he meets every people whenever they gets into the Berkshire Hathaway. Right. I praise the position of the then Steve Jobs, who is no more, the way he groomed up. I praise the position of Facebook CEO. You see, he sits in a single chamber. He sits with the same people in the office lobby, and he takes the lunch with the same people everywhere. So what matters is they know how you are closer to the people. What matters is what you need as a leader. You must understand the basic difference between sympathy and empathy. So you should be more empathy rather than sympathy, right? Then only you can work out. Because today, forget that you are treating people as a workforce. No, you need to be understood that when you are a dean, your people who is working under you, they are assets for you, right? So don't treat that asset because they are non-living or living. No, assets means you need to accompany them. You need to understand them because they have emotions, right? They need to have affectionate. They need to be loved. So just because you are sitting on the chair and you say what you say because boss is always right, so this will not be work out. And a lot of institutions, they have gone only because they have resisted to change. So don't resist to change, right? You need to, and if anyone who is resisting to change, there's a lot of examples are there. You see, you take the case of Nokia, you take the cases of Sony, you take the cases of big companies. Anyone, and not only big company, you take the cases of even Harvard University. When it was to some time it was with the government, and then again government has given to the private. So what matters is that you have to change. You need to adopt the change. And if anyone is resisting, means you are just inviting trouble for yourself. Any more questions, please? Yeah, we are open up. Still, we have a time of 10 minutes. Yeah. Yes, please. So I would request the organizers to kindly get into the picture, please, now. Shankaracharya Technical Campus, ma'am. Yeah.
In fact, sir, in our institute, our president, most of the, in senior positions, most of the faculty members or most of the head of the department, our president is a lady,
Oh my God,
Ms.
great.
Jaya Mishra ma'am, and our vice principal is again a lady, Dr. Jaspal Bagga ma'am, and in most of the departments, the head of the departments are the lady. So,
So
I
Mr.
don't
Kabir,
think it's a
Mr.
matter of
Kabir, yeah, Mr. Kabir, I think you
gender.
got the answer. You got the answer here.
Yeah,
In most,
nice to hear, ma'am.
so I'm requesting all the participants to please turn on your cameras for a while to pick a click. So all are requested. I'm just changing the layout. Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. So I do expect that you must have, if you feel that anything should be added on, you can just SMS on the dashboard of it, and rest my extensions and my lots and lots of wishes to everyone. Be safe. All the very best. So thank you once again, Dr. Dolly.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and giving us this nice lecture and nice session for inspiring us and for motivating us. Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Namaskar. Namaskar to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks to all the participants. There's a break of 15 minutes.